Hi, it's Michelle from Muffin Beauty Science, Chemistry PhD and Cosmetic Science Nerd. A lot of you told me that you really enjoyed watching me get tortured by watching a 5-minute crafts video, so I'm going to do it again for your entertainment. Let my pain become your pleasure. If you like this sort of video, you can subscribe to my channel, you can click like, and you can follow me on Instagram and my blog. If you have suggestions for a video that I watch that isn't 5-minute crafts, then please drop it in the comments as well. Today's video is 40 viral beauty hacks that will blow your mind. Now, I expect there's a little bit of exaggeration with the title, but I will be very disappointed if I am not virally mind blown. Let's give this a whirl. So this is a legitimate nail art technique. I've used it before. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about is that it's a gel polish, and I believe because of the bottle it's light protective. You can see it's a black bottle. It might be one that you need a UV light to set. So the way one of these UV gel polishes works is it contains monomers, which after you expose it to UV light, these monomers, which are little molecules, they will joined together to form a plastic. This plastic's called a polymer. If you don't do this, then the smaller molecules can irritate your skin. It can cause nasty allergic reactions. You would have to set it with UV after this. I am almost certain they haven't. So if you're going to do this hack, just use a normal nail polish with it. If you really want to have that long-lasting UV gel effect, I would recommend doing this with normal nail polish, then covering it with a clear UV top coat and then setting the top coat with a UV lamp. You can also use lots of different sprays for the spraying part. You can use pretty much anything. I've commonly seen people use perfume for this. I've never personally used hairspray though. I mean, obviously that's a fake pimple. It looks more like a wart. So the reason people crush up aspirin and use it on their face is because aspirin is acetylsalicylic acid. Salicylic acid is beta-hydroxy acid, BHA. This is a really common treatment for clearing out pores. It's a chemical exfoliant. Acetylsalicylic acid, which is an aspirin, this has what's called an acetyl group, surprise, attached to the hydroxy part of the molecule. It's not really known whether or not it converts effectively into salicylic acid on your skin. It does convert in your digestive tract. It still probably has anti-inflammatory properties, but it's not really the same as salicylic acid. You can't really cheap out and use this and expect the same results. So I think using a proper salicylic acid treatment should work better, but this isn't the worst hack. There is also a slight concern that if you use an aspirin tablet and you just mix it with water, you're going to end up with a really high concentration on your skin. So this can be quite irritating on your skin, especially because it is still an acid. And so if you have this sort of irritation, it can lead to your pimple lasting longer. It can lead to hyperpigmentation, which might take a while to fade. Again, it's just safer to use a proper salicylic acid product that is made for applying on skin. Glitter near your eyes is usually not a great idea. Depending on the type of glitter, some glitters are made of little flakes of metal. Metal is sharp, your eyes are fragile. So if you get a tiny piece of glitter in your eyes, which is quite likely, if you've ever tried using a really brightly colored eyeshadow, you'll see that it comes out in your tears. So it is getting into your eye. If it gets trapped under your eyelid, which again is not that far-fetched, it can scratch your cornea and then lead to infections. There are a few case studies where people have gotten glitter into their eyes and it's scratched it and it's led to nasty infections, which has led to permanent damage. Petroleum jelly is not very good at holding stuff onto your skin. Petroleum jelly is greasy, it can be a bit sticky, but around your eye area, if you wear this for any amount of time, because it's not made for keeping stuff stuck, the glitter is probably going to migrate. So sticking glitter near your eye in something that's not made for sticking is just a bad combination. It's a lot safer just to get a gold eyeliner and draw on flecks if you want that look. This isn't the worst hack. Pretty much any oil will help out with dry hair. I do think it's a waste of perfectly good whipped cream. I guess the whipped texture would make it easier to distribute on your hair, but you can do this with lots of different oils: coconut oil, sunflower oil, olive oil. I do recommend that you wash it out with shampoo though, because otherwise it can get a bit greasy. That seems like a waste of a perfectly good lump of jelly. You really don't need that much to cover your skin. Again, I don't think it's the worst hack, but it just seems like a bit of a waste. I do like the fact that it does use gelatin, but it doesn't get you to apply the gelatin on your skin. When gelatin's applied to your skin, it turns into a pretty solid film pretty quickly, and removing that is incredibly painful. I'm also not sure the pomegranate tea will do much. Pomegranate does contain antioxidants. In tea form, it's probably not quite as good as fresh. But again, having it in this giant jelly lump, the antioxidants just probably aren't going to get to your skin in any meaningful concentration. I would recommend instead just making the tea and not adding gelatin, just paint it on your face as a mask and wash it off afterwards. I don't think it'll be as effective as a proper antioxidant mask, but it's a lot less hassle and you'll end up with probably a better effect than this particular hack. Activated charcoal is good for absorbing odors. The way that it works is that it has a really large surface area, so it's really good at grabbing onto things. So things like odors. So not a really terrible hack. There is a bit of a risk that activated charcoal could potentially scratch your teeth. Activated charcoal obviously also doesn't contain fluoride, which is pretty important for hardening your teeth. So if you continually brush your teeth with just activated charcoal, it's not going to harden your teeth and it could make you more prone to cavities. But I guess just the very act of brushing your tongue and removing some of the bacteria in your mouth might help. This seems like an incredibly roundabout and damaging way to give yourself redder lips. There are so many things that will give you redder lips better. Basically what this is doing is irritating your lips so that there's more blood flow to your lips and so it becomes more pink. Long term, this sort of irritation and inflammation can make your lips age faster. And of course, lipstick exists. If you really want to get into this DIY thing, you could also just use berries. Just berry juice is a lovely red color that won't irritate your lips anywhere near this much. And another thing that irritates your lips is just slapping yourself in the mouth. Just slap yourself in the mouth. These craft things, this is where 5-minute crafts is good. This is what they should have always stuck to. Just stick things together to make useful accessories. It's fun, it's a really great activity to do with your kids. Just stick to that. Things that are safe for your eyes are not necessarily safe for your lips. A lot more can get through your lips because you are going to be eating with them, as shown in this video. You end up with a lot more of your lip products in your body. Now, if they're purposely designed for your lips, this is generally safe. But if they're designed for your eyes and you're eating it, It's like eating anything else that is not, it's just not a good idea. And on top of this, I'm not sure lash gel will actually do this. Depends on what lash gel you're using. I guess if it's something more waterproof like clear mascara, it could work, but most of the time with the lash gels I've been able to find, they don't have any waterproofing ingredients. They look mostly just like moisturizer. It would be much more effective just to get a long wear lipstick. I think what they're trying to show here is dark circles. Dark circles will not go away that quickly, and they will not go away with tea bags. What tea bags can do is reduce swelling from pooling of liquid, so it can help contract the area and tighten the skin temporarily, which can push any liquid that's being gathered around your eyes away. So when you lie down at night, you have lots of liquid inside your body in between cells, and this liquid can sort of go from your legs back into your face, sort of like you're a bottle of water lying down. And so this can help your face look smoother because it plumps up your skin. When you stand up during the day, gravity makes this liquid go back towards your feet, and so your skin tends to look a bit more wrinkled at night compared to when you first wake up. So your eye bags will also get swollen up after you lie down. So cold tea bags can help push the liquid out, but it's not going to work for dark circles. This hack will work. Oils will dissolve things that water generally can't. Things like waterproof makeup, oily foundations. So this hack will work, it's pretty safe. So I think I can safely say my mind was not blown. I'm pretty disappointed about that. I don't know what their definition of a viral beauty hack is. I don't think any of those were really that viral. I guess 5-minute crafts is an infectious virus in itself, so that ticks that box. I do think there are some decent hacks in there that at the very least are safe, but there's just enough unsafe ones in there that I think it's pretty irresponsible. I think most of us realize it's irresponsible, but I think there are probably a lot of teenagers out there who would be tempted to try these. I'm not sure if anyone's been hurt by anything 5-minute crafts has released. I do kind of feel that the only way for them to stop is if they get sued. Unfortunately, I think their business model does depend on making really awful hacks, and that's pretty disturbing. So yeah, I don't know if there's any real way of disincentivizing these content farms from making their sort of content. I guess educating people on the problems with these is a good start, but I feel like, I guess information like this, terrible hacks have been around forever. So if you're alive in the 90s and early 2000s, you'll know that there were email forwards going around with awful hacks all the time. But I think with our current media setup, this sort of thing tends to proliferate a lot faster and it reaches a lot more people. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it and subscribe to my channel. You can also click the notification bells to get alerts when I put out new videos. You can also follow me on Instagram at Muffin Beauty Science, where I post lots of beauty tips and sciencey information. You can also check out my blog, labmuffin.com. I will see you next time, where I will hopefully be less tortured.